I'm on a Windows machine, so you get 30% less value than you do on the Mac one. Sorry, it's not big enough. My bad. Hey, it's late in the day, you're hungry, so what am I going to talk to you about? I'm going to talk to you about delicious Mexican food. So stay attuned here, because this is what engagement's about, yumminess. I'm going to give you a case study. I'm not going to be selling to you here. I want you to learn some facts from our experience. This is all going to come back to a particular campaign that we did with a consumer goods brand, largest frozen manufacturer of Mexican food in the country, called El Monterrey. They were trying to take some aggressive marketing growth in their brands they hadn't done in the past and wanted to use social to do it. So the campaign they came up with in collaboration with their agency was called Meet the El Monterreys. This was anybody ever heard of a novella? Anybody know what a novella is? This is in America, particularly in high Latin demographic areas. They're incredibly bad soap operas, but they're very popular. So this brand decided they were going to do a spoof, create a family around the name of their brand called the El Monterreys, and then they were going to activate this with geo-targeted TV. Anyone want to guess why they only did geo-targeted TV? Anyone?
Hispanic packets.
Because TV is very expensive and hard to measure. So instead they said, let's do geo-targeted TV, but let's do international or national activation and social through Facebook and email campaigns and then YouTube activation. So I'm going to talk to you about how each of those went and what made them work. But first, you have to know what I'm talking about. So we're going to watch one of the commercials just for fun.
And now back to El Monterrey.
Father, go on, say it, Father. Our love is forbidden. We're from two different worlds. Nothing but star-crossed lovers. A rich boy and a poor girl doomed to a life of...
Oh, no, you're good. Carry on.
Really?
Yeah. She's hot. Welcome to the family, my dear. Let's eat. Take the drama out of preparing a deliciously authentic Mexican meal. El Monterrey.
So it's a little cheeky, but how many of you are going to race out to the frozen food section to get burritos now? Nobody. That's not how TV works. So they realized they had to do something more to really engage the audience. They had great content here. So here's how we activated it in media. Wait a minute. Oops. Sorry, guys. So here's the objectives we were given from the brand, what we challenged ourselves to do. We said, look, we got to build awareness of these brands and characters because this is what's going to drive an association with the product. We also have to drive engagement with the individual characters because each character was smartly associated with the product. One guy was the burrito guy, one lady was the chimichanga gal, and it let people build these kind of bonds with these fictitious characters. And then we wanted to convert these visitors into the magical thing that we should always be focused on in advertising, which is some kind of opt-in to re-engage that consumer again. If you run an ad without a conversion point, you shouldn't be running the ad. And lastly, drive trial through coupon distribution. We want to get action into stores. So we used two main mechanisms to promote this campaign in digital. First, Facebook advertising, standard units. We, in fact, used a standard like unit. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. And we did a relatively new product at the time with YouTube, which was an in-stream video with a combined banner. And what that really meant was, you know those times when you pop up a video and something pops up first and they make you watch it? It's one of those, sorry. The good news is they make it so you can skip those. The rates we got were fantastic though, and people didn't skip. But the magic of what made these work was not the ads. Facebook ads are great, but we like to call them meh, they're okay. Because Facebook ads by themselves will get you an opt-in, that can be a good thing, but that's about all you're going to get. Instead, we wanted to activate something much more powerful, and that's our special sauce. So what's in our special sauce between that ad and the super like? Well, the special sauce is pretty straightforward, and it doesn't just have to come from our company. It can come from any company that says, look, first and foremost, let's have compelling content, something somebody likes to see. That's what these guys are talking about. Let's not just have a crappy banner ad at the top. Let's have something that gets in your face that's in context and makes sense to you. But take that up another notch and say, hey, how about user-generated content? What do I care the most about? My ideas, my comments, that's the whole basis of Facebook. So leverage it by having content that comes from the user that they care about and want to share. And build in gaming mechanics. What do I mean by gaming mechanics? Well, it can be anything from rewarding people for their behaviors. It can be giving them an offer. But most importantly, it's about them engaging and being rewarded for engaging with your brand. So here's what that looked like in these campaigns. First of all, we created on Facebook a microsite. Because if we were going to drive ads in Facebook, it's almost universally more efficient and cheap to drive to a property within Facebook. But they had a lot they wanted to get across. We didn't want to drive people to a video and have them leave. We wanted them to come in and be able to explore several videos and also get inside of a really fun engagement, which again, we're going to talk a lot about here. But we wanted a strong call to action. We wanted people to not just come and say, hey, watch our video. We wanted there to be more involved. And that more was the contest that we were going to talk about in a second, but we also wanted what we call EPU. We wanted to have an EPU. That's everybody plays, everybody wins. So we created a very fun contest in which people could come in, vote on their favorite characters and interact, and then just by coming in and participating, you immediately got rewarded. Because don't we all love getting rewarded and want to stay when we do? And that's the premise in this engagement of having an EPU coupon. And we wanted to keep it fresh. Content is only good if it's fresh. And so each week we refresh the campaign by highlighting a new character and highlighting a new product as a result. So this was the landing experience. Somebody would come into Facebook, and already we had a fantastically enhanced engagement opportunity. But that wasn't it. People then, after liking the page, moved on to what we called an engagement challenge or an idea challenge on Bulbstorm. Bulbstorm challenges can take a lot of different forms. In this case, it was one where you see here a list of all the characters. You could come in and meet these characters. And you could not just watch their cartoon, watch their commercial, you could also watch some of the B-roll or some of the mistakes. And so people started to form little tribes around characters and look at multiple videos. And as you watch the videos, you could comment on them, you could vote. And in fact, we took the magic of user-generated content and let people create their own characters. So we said, hey, come on, these aren't the only people who can be in the Hacienda, in the El Monterey family. Maybe there's crazy Uncle Jose. And people would write stories about these characters and then share them with their friends, all again and again revolving around this brand. And throughout the participation in a really good engagement, part of the reward is a virtual currency of earning points. So people could take those points, they could buy prizes, they could get coupons to buy the product, or they could enter to win a sweepstakes, all within the same engagement. And then finally, the prizes could be very simple. They didn't have to be fancy things. This was not a contest like a lot of brands you see where somebody's going to win $200,000. The prizes were simple. There was the coupon that everybody could win and actually got people to try their products. There was the branded swag. Swag is, t-shirts and different things. There was even a ringtone from each of the characters you could win. We had thousands of people download these voiceovers that cost absolutely nothing just for people because they got bonded with the brand and the characters. And then lastly, there was a grand prize, but the grand prize was, guess what? A trip to these people's faux home. So it was branded and integrated into the campaign. So I always like to say, look, when it comes to advertising in our industry, people like to say content is king. That's true, but if content is king, then engagement's the queen, and she does all the shopping. You've got to have engagement. So what happened? This is the process flow, and you guys can download this, I'm sure, later to get a better understanding. But what we got by having this two-pronged attack of both Facebook and YouTube. The Facebook people, the worst that could happen with this kind of ad unit was they would like us and not come into the engagement. That's not bad, because we can go message them again and again, and many of those people who might have liked the ad the first time may not have come all the way into the engagement experience, but they came back later. Those that did come through went to our landing experience, watched videos, and then ultimately went into the contest and engaged over and over again and recruited their friends. Similarly with YouTube, got people to watch multiple views in YouTube. Then they went to the page and engaged, and then they shared with their friends. And then when their friends said, hey, did you see that other guy's video? It's hilarious. They came back again and again and again. So now that very modest ad budget just snowballs into becoming an incredible advertising and engagement campaign. That's what sells burritos. So what happened with the Facebook ads? Well, here's what we use for the pragmatics. We use characters and product shots. We use the vote to win, call to action. We use coupons and that everybody wins kind of advertising. And actually those perform best. When we said, hey, come play in our exciting engagement and get a coupon, even if you don't win the grand prize, those ads converted multiples better than any others because people felt like, look, I'm not going to just enter a sweepstakes and have a 1 in a zillion chance to win. I want to know I'm going to be rewarded for my engagement. And why like ads? I talked about this a little bit. The like ads was because, look, the worst that could happen when we ran those ads was we got a like to follow up with those folks in the past, in the future, and that worked very well. And it was important to us that the like ads allowed us to run with a Facebook address in the link. It's often the case that if you run a different type of ad, you have a scary third-party URL. People will look at that URL in the ad and say, well, I don't know who those people are, but I like that URL that's in Facebook. So you got to be careful when you run your Facebook advertising. If you do it yourself, which I don't recommend. I recommend using experts like these. But realize that URL matters to the consumer. It can scare them away from an otherwise good ad. On the YouTube side, we did the pre-roll ads. We offered to have, we did 2 types there, by the way. We did a 15-second and 30-second. 15-second, unsurprisingly, performed best. We also said our call to actions were see the rest, check out more of these ads. And the target was only in 6 markets as well as in a broader demographic. And we, like so many people have said, they're kind of A/B tested and did both. So what were the results? Well, the results were truly astounding. We got 40 times the ad performance versus banners that were run in the same campaign. So to the point that was made by Chris, there's a dead zone of banner ads, and so consumers don't want that anymore. So I would tell you, repurpose that budget. Sorry if you work in that industry. And in addition to that kind of advertising performance, it was efficient. We got less than $1 cost to a conversion. That, in our case, those conversions were measured differently than just a click. And astounding engagement at 4 million views of these TV ads without paying any TV channel to do it. So recognize, let consumers get associated with your good content and they'll do more with it. And ultimately, it turned into purchase conversion. We had coupon redemption from people claiming in this contest thousands of coupons and then actually going out and buying product at a rate 40 times the average in the industry. And as importantly, this little teeny brand that probably few of you had heard of before you came into the room actually got written up in Facebook as a model for CPG advertising. So keep in mind, content's king, but engagement's queen. And so I would encourage you to use that in your advertising strategy. One last question. So, we had all these characters. Who do you think won? The handsome young fellow, the father, the mother, the daughter, or the evil son?
The evil son.
Ah, come on, advertisers. It was the hot chick. She won hands down. So, moral of the story, if you're going to run ads, if you can get away with your brand, run a hot chick. Thanks.
That was a segue. So, advertising people talk way too much and way too long. Yes? But if there's anyone that wants to ask questions, we're eager to take them. Any hands? Oh, there's one in the back. Yes, ma'am. What was your budget on the El Monterey campaign?
I'll give you the digital portion of the budget. It was less than $100,000.
Yes, ma'am.
For the El Monterey, were those unique visitors, the viewers, the commercials, 4.1, the commercial views?
The question, I'm just repeating the question. The question was the number presented unique views?
I have no idea. I have people who put that on slides for me. So I believe it was, but I'd have to check.
Any other questions? Well, thank you all so much for coming. We hope that we'll all run into you again, professionally or personally. Please feel free to reach out to the presenters and get information if you'd like, and have a great rest of your day.